This month marks the 200th anniversary of Britain and Brazil doing trade together. Back then we were hugely influential, one of Brazil's top 5 trading partners. Now though, the situation has changed, and not for the better either. In terms of the list of trading partners now, we're 36th, and of all the international trade that Brazil does, Britain accounts for a pitiful 2% of it. All that, hopefully though, is about to change. That's the aim of the British Consulate. They're based in this rather splendid building behind me, and they host trade delegations. The first one of the year is coming today. A group from the northeast of England, they're here to forge lasting relationships with Brazilian companies.
Chamo-me Martin Raven, Consul Geral Britânico aqui em São Paulo, e eu vou falar em inglês. For those of you who don't speak Portuguese, I just said hello. My name's Martin Raven.
It's the job of the Consul General to translate the aims of the delegates into reality. So why are they so keen to come?
There are 2 things that must attract people to Brazil above anything else, and that's the size and the scale. You've got a market here of 185 million people, 84% of whom are urban. You've got a very sophisticated industrial base built up through the 20th century. You've got an enormous level of resources, natural resources, both in the agribusiness side. You've got huge water resources, 12% of the world's fresh water here in Brazil. You've got a very modern and sophisticated economy, and therefore it's a place that people can do business with some complications, but they can do business here, and our role is to help point them in the right direction.
Each member of the group has paid £600 to be part of the trip, whether they come from the world of theatre and dance or from heavy industry. So specifically, what are the delegates hoping to achieve? Kate Gordon works for an organisation called Intern Study. She's in Brazil to find work placements for European students. Richard Finlow represents Nexus, who sell audio and video accessories. He's hoping to identify some Brazilian retailers to stock his products. Alan Clark's company, Mechatronics, produces brake equipment. His aim is to form a joint venture whereby he exports to Brazil and the Brazilians export to the UK. They're all optimistic about their chances. So how useful is it being part of a trade delegation?
It's very useful actually, you've automatically got some extra contacts, people who know the market very well, you can rely on their resources, getting the introductions. I think when you're doing business in Brazil in particular, having those relationships and introductions is very important, because it's a very sort of personable market and everyone wants to know everybody, and the face-to-face meetings are very important as well, so it's helped quite a bit.
What's your hope?
Well, at least to be able to establish a relationship and take it from there in terms of being able to source some of the products for them from the UK and compete with some of the local manufacturers, especially the exchange rate situation, the valuation of the real in previous years right up to now has made imports very attractive to Brazilian consumers, so it's an alternative to locally manufactured products.
We're looking to see what the Brazilian market is all about. We've seen a lot of manufacturers, as a UK manufacturer, just moved all of their production to Aguascalientes in Mexico, and other manufacturers moving stuff into Brazil as well. So people are moving their manufacture to this part of the world and starting to sort of step away from China and things like that. So it's a market that we definitely need to look at and learn more about.
This lack of knowledge about both Brazil and the process of finding partners is fairly typical. So the delegation includes mentors to give hints on how to succeed.
My advice to them is think about what that Brazilian or what that company owner you're speaking to is thinking about you. It's not the same as selling in the UK, where we're all UK culture, but from here, UK seems like a little island just off the coast of mainland Europe. What can they think about to make sure somebody looks at their product?
After a morning of being primed with information, the delegates went their separate ways on visits organised for them by the consulate. As Jeff said, they were expecting a challenge, so now, winding the clock forwards by 4 weeks, how did they fare? Very well, to be honest. Kate has managed to find placements for 12 European students to go to Brazil and 20 Brazilians to go to Europe, 5 times the number she was expecting. Richard is drawing up terms with a leading nationwide distributor for his product and expecting to sign agreements shortly. And Alan is now in ongoing talks with potential partners and drawing up prototypes. These may be humble steps so far, but it's steps like these which could herald a new era, taking us full circle to enjoying the relationship with Brazil, which Britain had 200 years ago.